What's going on, everybody? My name's Derek, this is Fatal RPM, and in today's video we are going to be continuing the work on the Z31, or technically on the engine. What we have here is a part that I have designed based off of a gasket and Sen Cut Sen. Went ahead, cut this up, and this was the second version. As you can see, this fits relatively well. The first time I did this, I had used a picture of a gasket, which was not the right thing to do. The first bolts and holes lined up, but as it got further and further to the end, it ended up being off like by 3 or 4 mils. But it was enough for the bolt holes to not line up perfectly. You would have had to bore out the holes just a little bit in order for them to fit, and I didn't want to do that. So I just went ahead, redesigned it, remade it, and this one, as you can see, does fit absolutely perfectly here on our cylinder head. So we have this. We also have the corresponding Schedule 40, I think is what this is. Stainless steel exhaust. So this is what's going to be used for the crossover as well as the main piece here. So this is going to be made out of the same pipe. Then we have a 90, which comes here, goes over, and then as you can see, we do have this accordion here, which is going to go in the center right around here. But we need to focus on the manifold first. So for the manifold, we have a few different pieces that we're going to be actually making that out of. We have a 90 and I think a couple T's or straights. I can't remember exactly what I did. I think I did straights. Part of me wishes I did T's. That way I don't have to cope these pipes, but I'm gonna have to cope them. We're gonna be using air so that we can actually use this 1/4 inch die grinder that I picked up a little while ago. Still have yet to use it. But that's what we're going to use to go ahead and clean up the edges as well as make the cuts perfect. From there, we're just going to kind of Sharpie and mark things. I'm going to try and get this done in the best way I can possibly do it. I'm pretty sure, no, these pipes aren't the same diameter, so it's not going to be that big a deal, really. I'm just going to kind of center and then make a circle from there, and then go from there. We'll see how it works. But in addition to that, we also got the little propane torch here so that we can preheat everything, because it is kind of chilly here in the garage. It's about in mid to high 50s today, but in the garage it's feeling like a solid high 40s, like it's actually cold. But we need to clean things up. As you can see, my welding helmet here has gotten a nice layer of grossness on it, so we need to go ahead, get everything cleaned up, get things marked up, masked up, cut up, and welded up. Let's get to it. So, like I said, we have a whole bunch of different parts here. This is the main pipe that we're going to be cutting up. So I think this is what I'm going to test on, because this is what I have the most of, and I made sure to, in addition to that, this 90, which is for the end right by the crossover. So at the back of the engine, all the runners go in here and then up to the crossover. So it's actually 1.5 inch diameter, which are the exhaust ports, to 2 inches, which is what this pipe is here. As you can kind of see, lines up relatively well. What this is actually for is to step it up to this pipe size from the last runner or first runner, depending on how you're looking at the engine. And there's actually another pipe in here. This guy is going to make the runners from the manifold. So we can make 2 pipes out of this, and then this is going to be the main runner. So the pipes will go into it like that. Let's get to practicing. I'm gonna cut a piece off of here. Actually, I'm gonna cut 2 pieces off of here. Kind of give them a nice little bevel on the end, and then weld them up. See how it looks. Might do that once or twice, and then go from there. Because we got maybe about 8 inches that we can play with in this pipe here. So starting off with a quick test, I wanted to cut off about 8 inches of the first pipe with the angle grinder. Now, since I'm using a manual angle grinder or a manual way of cutting, none of my cuts are really going to come out super straight, but this masking tape really did kind of help with that. Short of this disc almost exploding on me, which, I mean, we're not going to talk about that exactly. So yeah, we just swapped out the disc super quick, and we cut off the rest of the pipe that we need so we can actually get this thing welded up and test what my skills are actually going to be like with TIG welding, which, come to think of it, this is like the first project that I'm doing with my TIG welder, so this was kind of a monumental thing for me. But hey, let's get into it. There you go. That's 1/2. Oh, fuck, I cut it too long. She wrote, ladies and gentlemen. That's all she wrote. I actually like that. Oh, I don't like that. We cannot weld that. At least I cannot weld that. Someone probably can, but I'm not that someone. It's nothing we can't compensate for. Let's see, is there a high point? There is a high point right here. Hey, look at that, it's straight. The gaps are all filled-ish. Not clean enough for this, but... Alright, test number 1. $70 is not enough. $90's good. We have finished the welds. Let's take a look at it work. So the first test, I missed like 2 spots. But I mean, other than that, let me flip it around. Some sugaring on the inside, but overall the penetration's not terrible. Back purging would help. I just wanted to get a test in on this thickness of metal because I wasn't entirely sure of what I would need. The welds themselves, the ones that were actually well shielded, didn't turn out too bad. Obviously they could be a million times better, but yeah. All I can tell you is that it will hold and it shouldn't crack. I call that a success. Alright, so seeing as how I don't have the aluminum foil necessary to actually back purge this stuff, what I'm gonna do, just weld on the first elbow, because I need that on there before I can do anything else. So, let's go ahead and do that. I need to preheat this thing first though, so grab the propane. Doing? Come on! This thing pisses me off. It's flickering. Do you have a low battery? Do you actually have a low battery now? Because you're blinding me. What is going on? I'm just going to turn the sensitivity all the way up. Alright. Finally got a tack down. After much trouble. Got a tack down. That torch is hot. I think the game plan is going to be tack this on, take measurements of height, cut it to the halfway point of the pipe, because that should be more than enough than what we actually need. The height that we need is about 2 3/4. Made. This is a little tiny nick. It would legit take like 15 minutes to cut through this pipe, so I'm not using that. Alright, 1. Alrighty. Considerable amount more metal in my mouth, but I can say for certainty I don't have an iron deficiency anymore. All right, and that is 2 almost flat pieces. Hello. So you can see how that kind of fits up like that, and then one of these is going in there like that. Let's go ahead and just get these things tacked on here super duper quickly. See, this welding helmet used to work so well before, but I got blinded like 5 times doing that. That is ridiculous. That should not have happened. The crazy part is how high the sensitivity is. So I'm just gonna make dots, and then we're gonna cut on the outside of the dots. I don't know why I touched that and it felt like it was hot for a second. It's never gonna focus on this, but there's a couple dots and I just need to make those lines. Dope! I can just tack this on here real quick. Hopefully my helmet doesn't try and blind me again. Keeps doing. Woo. That was an actual tack and it worked. Thank God. Tack it over here.
3 weeks later.
Alright, so real quick, I want to apologize in advance if these shots are a little weird. I forgot my tripod at home. And unfortunately, I've already been here for a couple hours trying to get some stuff set up. But as we stand, before we were working on this connection here, well, not this connection, but the connection to this seat here, or this exhaust here with this. And as you can see, at this point in time, it's basically a perfect fit that we got to work with. I'd probably say we are just about there, as you can see. And that's just kind of loosely holding it in here. So once it's tacked down, you'll be able to see that it fits very, very well. So now what we have to do is tack this in here so that we can get a measurement from the end of this guy to here, so I know how much pipe I need to cut. Yeah, I think I had already kind of marked it where I need to cut it, maybe, I think. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do all that over again.
Many unbearable hours later.
We finally have this thing pretty much shaped the way we want it. Gap's pretty good. That is pretty good all around. So now what we need to do is we need to take the large pipe after we get a full measurement of this thing on the engine here. That way we can get the appropriate length of pipe that we need. Stick this guy on here. One on there. And basic measurement to the end is about, looking at about 8.5. So we will cut it at 8 3/4. Hopefully that's more than enough. If it's not, I can always cut it a little shorter. Cut off a slightly shorter piece, weld the shorter piece on like I did with this, and then we can extend from there, but I like to do as little welds as possible. So let's go ahead and get this set up in the vise and get 8.5, 8 3/4 inches cut off. So the big piece does not come flying off. There we go. We got one cut pipe, kind of straight. Not really, but kind of. So if we go ahead and just hold this up to here, with this here, it's actually, that's like right on the money. I don't know why I'm trying so hard to line it up right now when it really doesn't matter. But I want to try and keep these registration marks that I have. We're going to try this a little differently. That tack was a lot better. All right, let's get one more tack in here. Alrighty, look at that. Alright, let's go ahead and test it on the engine here. Alrighty, let's go ahead and... Man, I need to use my brain for once. Okay, well, this is obviously not gonna work. Alright, let's cut it off. Turn it 90 degrees. This time the correct direction. That looks pretty good. Granted, I'm looking through the camera right now, but that looks pretty good. Nothing that can't be remedied. Alright, cool. We're good. Let's go ahead and get this thing welded up. So I've went ahead, I got these holes cut out. So what I did is I used the angle grinder to cut in a couple slits, and then I used the die grinder over like an hour of making these holes. But as you can see, we got that hole there, and then this hole here. I use this one because it's 10 times easier to set up for the camera. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to weld this piece to this fully, and then after I do that, then I'll weld each one of these runners into this, and then I'll weld those to the manifold. Let's tack this on here like so, kind of, and then we can go ahead and weld this up. So some time has passed, and we're getting the flange welded on here. But as you can see now, we have this other manifold. This is actually the scrap manifold that I used before here, and everything's all set up. We got this thing all purged out, and now we just need to weld on the flange. So I did weld the other side already. You can see the gap on there is pretty bad. I actually managed to do not a terrible job, not a great job by any means. I mean, none of this is a great job if we're gonna be honest here. But it wasn't bad, and I actually managed to close it up without having to do multiple runs. So I'm gonna take quite long breaks between each, and I'm gonna do these in like, I wanna say quarters. So I'm gonna do this part, then I'm gonna jump over here and do that part, then over here and do that part, and then bop, 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 until we're done. So this is the end product right here. So this I just finished. Everything's all welded up, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly undo this here, and then we're gonna transfer it onto there so that it doesn't warp too much, because it's really hot right now because I legit just finished that. Ow, this is hot. Ow, this is hot. Ow, that is hot. Okay. Alrighty. Toss it on here. Cool. Alright. So you can see, this is officially our other manifold. And just like that, we have both driver and passenger side exhaust manifolds. Now I just need to, this is actually quite a bit longer. It's whatever. I can make up for that, I'm pretty sure, as long as it's not too long to the point where it's gonna hit the firewall. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Here we go, we went ahead, we completely installed all of the hardware on this manifold. That looks, it looks like a manifold. Yeah, we went ahead, we got that all installed. Like I said, it's still cooling down. The reason why I did this, even without a gasket, is so that I can minimize any more warping that might happen. And this is just a tad bit warped. You can kind of see a gap right there. It's not huge, but it should be able to be mitigated with the gasket, as I hope. Otherwise we'll have a fucking exhaust leak, and I'll just take it to the belt sander to clean it up real quick. But that's gonna be pretty much it for today. Next, we're just gonna build this pipe. I forgot that this was warm. I touched it, I was like, why is that warm? And then fuel system, and then wiring, and then we're done. Yay! All right, let's get to building this thing. Drape this over here. All right. Also, actually wasn't that bad once you got the cut started. And then I proceed to immediately almost drop it on my... Alrighty, that should be pretty flat, honestly, now. My finger's getting stuck. It's like perfectly flat, look at that. Alrighty, nice. I did hit the block 1 or 2 times. That'll be fine. We have V-bands that we're going to go ahead and put on here. So we can go ahead and get these welded on there now. Alright, so I've done quite a bit since we last talked, and long story short, I have a bunch of pie cuts that I made because I went and I got a abrasive shop saw, and yeah, it wasn't the easiest things to make. I made quite a few of them. I don't think they're terrible. They could be significantly better, but either way, I made those, and we're going to be putting those up here right before the flex that goes in the center. And I also tacked on this V-band flange. Now it's about a 1/4 inch too small, which is really annoying because these are 2-inch, and I got like the perfect combo of pipe and stuff here. I might have to cut this just a little bit short because I did test fit it up here without the junctions. So yeah, might have to cut those short. But so far so good. Honestly, this thing was not off by all that much, to the point where it really seemed like I needed to cut it off and weld it back on. Mainly because I had the intake manifold on here and they were both sitting like just behind it. So I have a feeling we'll be good. If not, I'm only off by like a 1/4 inch. And I'm not going to lose sleep over denting in my firewall a 1/4 inch. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do from here on out is we are going to tack up the other side. Then we're going to go ahead, tack up the pipes to here. Then once we're here, I think we're going to tack up the ones on the other side as well. But first, I need to get the other V-band tacked onto the side. Now, I am using them in alternating keys here. That way, the pipe can only go in one way, since this is not the same distance there and back. So it's going to make it super obvious when I go ahead and put it on. But yeah, so one side has a step on it, and the other side has a seat in it, and that's how we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to do the step on the passenger side and the seat on the driver's side. But yeah, let's go ahead and get everything tacked up here and kind of work this in. I'm pretty sure we're basically going to be done here. The only thing I haven't done that I need to do is cut the straight for this. But, I mean, we can come to that later. Neat, 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 neat. Now I can do that. Let's go ahead and try fit this. not looking terrible, but this is also an accordion. I think I got the right direction down this way. We should be good on that. Now the question is, am I going to do a pie cut out and then a pie cut in? So I feel like that's going to be my best bet because this angle is not looking super great. But yeah, I'm going to put the clamp on here so I don't have to keep holding this in. Ow, hot, fuck. I don't know how I keep forgetting that these things were being melted and they're hot. No, now I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I got you guys with a slightly different angle here, but these are the two pie cuts that I'm going with. And honestly, like, this thing's still curving up right now because when I was messing with it before, I was trying to like figure out like the type of angle that I needed. And it's just kind of holding that at the moment for whatever reason. But yeah, so I bend it down ever so slightly, not like torquing on it, like down, 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 because it can go pretty far to the point where it's straight and I don't even have to put a pie cut in there. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to introduce a whole bunch of stress into this part. So I'm going to bend it slightly. If I bend it slightly and I put these two pie cuts here, weirdly enough, it's going to look so awkward, but it's going to be a pie cut coming straight out and the smallest section. I'm not going to be able to finish this weekend, unfortunately, it would seem, since I don't have any argon. And I thought I had enough to be able to at least tack this whole thing up, but it's looking like I don't, so yay. I'm going to go ahead and tack these up. I might as well since I have everything here set up. Get this whole shebang bang tacked up so I don't have to keep fighting with it and worrying about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get these stacked up, and then next time you guys see this, we'll have some more argon for that so we can get this actually welded up. Alright guys, so I did a thing and I have this thing here which we will call a crossover pipe. It is technically a pipe because it is one piece, and it crosses over from one side to the other. Fits up relatively well as well. Now you might be asking yourself, how exactly did I do this? I'm not even sure how I accomplished this. I kind of whiffed, or I'm not entirely sure how I did it. I just kind of, the reason why I didn't record it is because I was doing a lot of stuff over a period of time and just kind of trying things out, and I only have but so much time that I can record for, and just in case I wanted to record something important, well, like this, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to. So we got this pie cuts. I'll recommend a video that's kind of close to what I did, or kind of looks like what I did, and I'll just kind of post it up here, I guess. But crossover pipe's done. We just have to finish up the welds on the V-band flange. Once we get the V-bands finished up, we need to do the dump pipe for the wastegate and have that join into the actual down pipe. And yeah, we should be good. This welding thing is becoming a little more familiar. I'm not good at it by any means, but I'm less terrified of what it is that I'm actually doing. So yeah, cool. I have to pull these things off though, which is why the turbo is now missing, which was once there, because I cannot get the torch back here. I'm not going to try anymore. I tried a couple times. Almost burnt a hole in the thing, so I'm not even going to attempt that anymore. We're just going to go ahead, pull these things off, and the good thing about it is since these are opposing flanges on either side, I can actually back purge this by plugging one end and filling it up with argon and putting a hole in the other end, or putting the argon in through the other end, because I can actually band these guys together. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull these off and we're gonna get to that. I guess we'll finish that up on camera and then we'll wrap it up after. finally finished up. Maybe not the best looking, but definitely finished up. I will say that this one turned out so much better than the other one did. Like, almost looks like I knew what I was doing on this one. But now that they're both fully installed, we got them tightened down. We can't fit a torque wrench in here, and I don't have a 13mm crow's foot. Actually, I don't have any crow's feet. So it's not torqued down, but they are snugly tightened down. So much so that I'm sure it would not leak. But I will end up getting a crow's foot just so I can torque everything down, because this is stainless steel hardware going into an aluminum head. And the last thing I want to do is tear those threads out of this head. So that wouldn't be great to have happen after all this work that we have put in on this engine. Poor spider, should have never went in there. Man, that spider's death is gonna suck. And it's all done. Look at that. Finally completed a section that we needed. Outside. Look at that. Something we fabbed up here. All the way over, crossover pipe to here. Into purchase stuff. Obviously, I never cut this, so this is a bit further out than this side, but it shouldn't be anything that would cause an issue, I don't think. Because when I had the intake manifold on here, didn't seem like it was causing any fitment issues, but we can double check. Yeah, so doesn't seem like it's going to cause any issues. But now we got the hot side here all set up. I don't know if I said what exactly everything is here, so I will leave the description of pretty much all the parts that I use down in the description, as well as where you can find them. So if you want to do this yourself, you can go ahead and try it out, because some of the more important bits, like the runners, are obviously more important. I would definitely step it up to a larger diameter because you have a lot more flow than what these are here. So this is kind of important, as well as having this whole thing a larger diameter. This is still out for debate of these being angled really being important. Obviously, if you're trying to squeeze every bit of power out of the turbo, you want to have this as optimized as possible. But even these aren't fully like float, like they're angled, but there's a big ass lip on the inside here. So it's going to introduce a lot of turbulence. Honestly, my side is going to flow better because at least these are ported to the runners compared to these, which still have that uneven part there. Can't really see it here, but it's kind of the same in here. There's a lip on the inside here. You can see I'm pushing up on it. It wasn't actually ported. So yeah, but all I can say is that they will flow. That's all that matters, because I needed this in order to get everything up and running in the car. But now that this is here, we officially have everything for the car. So next video is more than likely just going to be us putting all the little nits in, all the little bits and pieces together on the engine that we need in order to get this thing set up. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching. If this video helped you at all, or you got any type of entertainment out of it, please do leave a like down below. And if you want to see any more videos coming from me for my 300ZX, 335, or future projects, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell icon, so you do get notified whenever I drop those videos. As always, thank you again for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.
I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'.